How did a man from Geneva, with no formal education, become one of the most influential philosophers of the Enlightenment era? This is the enigma of Jean-Jacques Rousseau, an intellectual conundrum that continues to mystify scholars and philosophy enthusiasts alike. Rousseau was born on a summer day, June 28, 1712, in the city of Geneva, Switzerland. His mother passed away shortly after his birth, a tragedy that Rousseau would later attribute to shaping his perspectives on life and society. His father, a watchmaker, took on the responsibility of raising him, instilling in young Rousseau a love for literature and music. But Rousseau's life was far from a smooth sail. At the tender age of 13, he was apprenticed to an engraver, a profession far removed from the philosophical discourse he would later be known for. This experience, marked by harsh discipline and stringent work hours, was a stark contrast to the freedom and creativity that Rousseau would later advocate in his works. Rousseau's journey from an engraver's apprentice to a renowned philosopher was not a straightforward one. His thirst for knowledge and an innate curiosity about the world led him to leave Geneva and embark on a journey across Europe. His travels exposed him to a variety of experiences and perspectives, which played a crucial role in shaping his philosophical thought. His intellectual journey was marked by a series of fortuitous encounters, pivotal moments, and serendipitous discoveries. He crossed paths with influential figures like Denis Diderot and Madame de Warens, who would play instrumental roles in his intellectual development. It was during these formative years that Rousseau began to question the societal norms of his time, setting the stage for his later works. Rousseau defied the odds, rising from a humble background to become a central figure in the Enlightenment era. His life is a testament to the power of curiosity, self-education, and the relentless pursuit of knowledge. Thus began the journey of Jean-Jacques Rousseau, the man who would redefine the Enlightenment era. Imagine a society where the government acts solely for the collective good of the people. Intriguing, right? This is the kind of society Jean-Jacques Rousseau envisioned when he penned his magnum opus, The Social Contract, in the year 1762. At the heart of the social contract lies the concept of the general will. No, it's not about what everyone individually desires. Instead, it represents the collective will of the people that aims for the common good. Rousseau believed that a just society is one where the government's actions are in harmony with this general will. But how does a society achieve this state of harmonious existence? Rousseau proposed the idea of a social contract. It's a hypothetical agreement among individuals, a pact if you will, to form a government. This isn't a physical contract with signatures on a piece of paper. It's an understanding, a mutual agreement among the society's members to relinquish some of their freedoms for the greater good of all. Rousseau argued that the legitimacy of political authority comes from this social contract. It's not about being born into a royal family or seizing power through force. Rather, it's about the consent of the governed, the people who have agreed to this social contract. In other words, the power of the government is derived from the people it serves. This might seem like a given now, but remember, Rousseau was writing in the 18th century. At a time when monarchies reigned supreme and divine right was often cited as the source of a king's power, Rousseau's ideas were revolutionary. He challenged the status quo, advocating for a society where the government served the people, and not the other way around. Rousseau's The Social Contract not only challenged the existing norms, but also laid the foundation for modern political thought. His ideas continue to resonate today, shaping our understanding of democracy, citizenship, and the very nature of political authority. What if education focused on nurturing individual creativity rather than rigid formal instruction? This intriguing question leads us into the heart of Jean-Jacques Rousseau's ideas on education as expressed in his work, Emile, or On Education. Rousseau's views on education were nothing short of revolutionary in the 18th century. He proposed a radical shift from the prevailing system of education, which heavily relied on formal instruction and rote learning. Instead, Rousseau advocated for an educational approach that allowed children to learn from their experiences, to grow with nature, and to develop their own unique understanding of the world around them. In Emile, or On Education, Rousseau presented the concept of natural education. The term might seem a bit unusual today, but the idea is simple yet profound. Rousseau believed that children should be allowed to explore the world around them freely, learn at their own pace, and make sense of things based on their experiences and observations. He argued that this kind of experiential learning would foster a child's natural development, nurturing their individual creativity and moral autonomy. Rousseau's philosophy of education was centered on the idea that learning should be a joyful, liberating experience rather than a rigid, oppressive process. He strongly believed that education should aim to cultivate the inherent goodness in children, rather than forcing them into a mold designed by society. Interestingly, despite being a man of the Enlightenment, Rousseau's ideas on education often seemed to be at odds with the era's emphasis on reason and rationality. His focus on individuality, creativity, and experiential learning was seen as radical, even controversial. Yet it is this very emphasis on the natural development and individuality of a child that has left a lasting impact on educational theory and practice. Today, we see Rousseau's influence in many modern educational approaches that prioritize individuality, creativity, and hands-on learning. His ideas continue to inspire educators and learners alike, challenging us to question traditional norms and to reimagine education in ways that nurture the unique potential of every child. Rousseau's ideas on education continue to influence pedagogical thought, emphasizing the importance of individuality and experiential learning. Are humans born equal, only to be corrupted by societal institutions? This provocative question is at the heart of Jean-Jacques Rousseau's work, Discourse on the Origin and Basis of Inequality Among Men. In this treatise, Rousseau delves deep into the human condition and the societal structures that develop around it. Rousseau argues that humans, in their most primal state, are born free and equal. This equality is not merely a legal construct, but a natural state of being. In Rousseau's view, every newborn enters the world unfettered by societal constraints, possessing an innate sense of freedom and an intrinsic sense of fairness. This is the state of nature, a condition of pure and uncorrupted humanity. However, Rousseau contends, as humans form societies, they unwittingly trade their natural freedom for the semblance of security, leading to the creation of societal institutions. These institutions, while intended to preserve peace and order, often breed inequality and moral corruption. As societal structures become more complex, they impose artificial hierarchies and distinctions, leading to an uneven distribution of resources, power, and privilege. Rousseau's argument is not a nostalgic yearning for a pre-societal utopia, but a critique of the societal structures that perpetuate inequality. He challenges us to examine the ways in which societal institutions, often created with the best of intentions, can distort our natural state of equality and freedom. This discourse is not just a philosophical musing, but a call to action. Rousseau urges us to continually question, critique, and reform the societal systems that foster inequality. He argues for a society that strives to preserve the natural equality and freedom of its members, rather than one that allows these fundamental human attributes to be eroded by societal corruption. Rousseau's discourse on inequality continues to stir debates, challenging us to question the societal structures that foster inequality. His work remains a beacon, illuminating the path towards a society that seeks to uphold the fundamental equality and freedom inherent in our human nature. How does a philosopher from the 18th century continue to wield influence in the 21st? This is the question that brings us to the heart of Jean-Jacques Rousseau's enduring legacy. Rousseau, a Genevan philosopher and political theorist, was a central figure in the Enlightenment era. His ideas on politics, education, and human nature were revolutionary, challenging the status quo and sparking lively debates that echo through the centuries. His magnum opus, The Social Contract, introduced the concept of the general will, positing that a just society is one where the government acts in accordance with the common good. This idea has been instrumental in shaping modern democratic thought, influencing political leaders and thinkers from the framers of the French Revolution to contemporary theorists. In the realm of education, Rousseau's Emile, or On Education, advocated for a natural approach to learning, emphasizing experience over rigid formal instruction. His ideas have had a profound impact on pedagogical theory and practice, influencing educational reforms and approaches worldwide. Rousseau's views on the state of nature and the corrupting influence of societal institutions, as encapsulated in his Discourse on the Origin and Basis of Inequality Among Men, have prompted discussions on social justice, human rights, and equality. His belief in the inherent freedom and equality of humans has fueled movements advocating for social and political change. Despite facing criticism and controversy, Rousseau's ideas have had a lasting impact on the intellectual landscape of the world. His influence extends to thinkers like Kant and Marx, and his ideas continue to be significant topics of study and debate. From philosophy to literature, from education to political discourse, Rousseau's legacy is a testament to the power of ideas to transcend time and space. In conclusion, Rousseau's contributions to the Enlightenment era were not just revolutionary for their time, but continue to resonate with us today. His ideas have shaped our understanding of politics, education, and human nature, and continue to inspire critical thinking and discourse in these areas. Jean-Jacques Rousseau, a man of humble beginnings, left an indelible mark on the Enlightenment era, shaping the discourse on politics, education, and human nature.